Hey everybody, it's Scott here at Aspiria Fitness Center with Corporate Fitness Works. I'm guiding you through today's class, which is mobility and more. So we're going to jump back right into frame and get started here. Not too much in terms of a warm-up. We kind of use our mobility portion for a little bit of a dynamic warm-up. We'll finish up at the end with a little bit more strength-centric rounds, but we do want to focus on just these movements and body weight and getting our mobility set right today. So let's go ahead and jump back here. We'll talk about class today. So as you can see, I'm starting off with no shoes. We'll probably want those back on, so you might see me slip my shoes on towards the end as we do that. A little bit of a strength block, but as you can see, I've got a mat here. I really got two mats to give myself a little bit of space, so hopefully you've got some soft carpeted area or somewhere where we can get down. We'll be using our mat on the floor quite a bit today. So I've also got my sweat towel and a water bottle just in case we may want to use that during class. And then I just have a weight. I've really got two dumbbells here, but we only need one weight or any kind of weighted object. I've got dumbbells. If you have a kettlebell, a med ball, any other kind of heavy object that you can grab, we'll use that. Again, you really only need one. So as long as you have something you can hold on to, that'll be great. And if you have nothing, hopefully you can grab just anything like a book or a heavy object of any kind out of the kitchen or something to get through class. Or we can just mimic those movements as best we can with whatever we have to work with at home. So we're going to take it right away. We're just going to get a very, very quick light warm up for our arms and legs here and maybe our chest, but we're going to take it into just our dynamic mobility blocks. We've got two dynamic mobility blocks. We'll do A, B, A, B. So we'll go through each one of those twice, and we'll just do a few rounds of our strength-centric block towards the end there. But we're going to start just a quick 6 or 7 arm circles on each arm, each direction, of course, as well. So we'll do 6 each direction. So I went backwards on that arm. I'm doing my arms individually here. We got 6 each direction on my right arm. We're going to the other arm here. So make sure we got nice big full arcs. Get that full range of motion. Start to warm up the shoulder. We'll do some more shoulder work, but we just want to make sure we get a little bit loose before we start here. And we did 6 each direction on each arm. So for our arm circles, and we're going to do over the fence or our hip. So we're going to step out and come back in. We're going to do 6 of those on each leg, and then we'll get started here. So just a very light, simple warm up here. So we're bringing knee up to our chest, open up that leg to the side, and then put it down. So we got to do 3 on each. I'm sorry, we did 3 right there. We got to do 6 on each leg. Here's 4. I think we'll call that 4, 5, and 6. Last one there. So all the way up and around. Switch legs. We'll do 6 on the other leg, and then we'll take it right into our bottom block. Nothing too unfamiliar for you guys that we'll need to demo, so I'm going to guide you guys through. I'm going to be with you the whole time, so just stick with me. We'll make sure we get a good bout of mobility training here, and we'll strengthen at the end. 2, 3, up and over, 3 coming back, 4, 4 on its way back, 2 more, all the way up and around, up and out. There's 5, and last one. Getting our legs warmed up, getting the hips warmed up, everything else. Great. So we're going to start flat on our back here for the first couple. We got our dynamic mobility block A. So there's 6 exercises in block A and B, and then we have a little bit of a kind of a strength mobility combo at the end of each round that we'll do. That'll involve a dumbbell. So we're going to have, just going through these first rounds, we've got 6 exercises, and then we're going to go into those, a little extra bit there, and those are kind of mimicked between A and B for the round. So one of them will change, one of them will be the same. We'll just switch sides on that. But we're going to start flat on our back. We're going to start warming up our shoulders and our lats. So we're just going to be flat on our back here, legs out in front of you, or feet flat on the ground. It's your choice. And we're going to be alternating, driving our thumb up to the touch behind us and come back over here. So we can do a fist, thumbs up at your side, your choice. We're going to do one arm at a time and switch arms so we can really focus on what that single arm and shoulder are doing. So that's our first exercise. We're going to take it right away. We got 1 minute alternating that thumb drive, lat extension. So we're keeping our back and our shoulder blade flat and engaged, and we're driving that. So we've been able to get to about right here. We'll feel some tightness in behind the shoulder blade. So the goal is to just keep trying to extend farther every time. Hopefully you can get that thumb all the way behind you, and if not, we're just going to work on that range of motion. So that's our first one, lat extensions, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. So our clock is ticking. We're just driving that thumb back overhead, and we're going to switch arms here. So if you can get your thumb all the way in touch, maybe you put your thumb down and just go for the fist. See if we can get that fist all the way to the ground. Hopefully we're not allowing our shoulder blade to jump up off the mat too much there. So keep your back flat, keep everything nice and engaged, and we're just going for that extension. We'll probably feel a good pull behind the shoulder blade. We're stretching out some of those muscles, so just keep working on driving as far as you can go, and if we can't touch the ground again, we're just going to go pushing just past as far as we can go comfortably, and just keep working on extending that range of motion every rep. We'll come back to this, so hopefully we'll feel an increase in that mobility as we go through the movement. Just a few more on each arm, 1 or 2 more on each arm here. Keeping that core tight, shoulder blades are down, all the way extended. All right, there's our round timer. From here, we're gonna stay right where we are, flat on our backside. Legs are gonna be flat now, and we're gonna drive one knee up to our chest, and then we're gonna kick to feel a hamstring pull, and then switch legs. So there's our timer. Up, and we're gonna kick. We're gonna have some tightness in the hamstrings. Probably if you're anything like me, you're not gonna get a very high kick. So we are gonna work on trying to kick that higher every time we can. Hopefully these will loosen up so we can see that foot kick higher and higher every time. But just like our upper body, we are just gonna alternate legs. So one knee up to our chest, and we kick that hamstring out. My hamstrings are very tight. You would know that already if you've been in mobility or strength class with me, so I do my best, but these kicks aren't going very high up, as you can see. So do your best. Just try and kick and really stretch out those hamstrings a little bit more every time. We will come back to this once again, like I said. So if we're not seeing the range of motion we want, hopefully we'll see improvement. Great, there's our break. Next exercise, we are going into our frog position. Similar to child's pose, but we are going to open knees up wide here. And we're going to sink back into that. There's our timer to start the round. So we're going to ease on and off of that frog pose. So we're sinking back, feeling a stretch on the inner thigh, and we're going to come forward and do extension at the hip. So we're just going back and forth between these two spots here. Hips forward, and then we sink back. Hips are wide, so we're feeling a nice stretch on the inside. Sink back on it as far as we can go, 1 or 2 seconds, and then we come forward. So definitely have your hands down on the mat here for some support as we go through this motion. Halfway there. So we should be able to sink back a little bit farther every time, right? Feeling those hips opening up slightly as we sink back on there. And we'll feel a stretch as well as we come forward. So we're getting a stretch in both places here, forward and sinking back onto the hips here. We've got time for 1 or 2 more. There's one. Let's get forward and sink back one more time before our timer expires. Great, and there's our break. So we are going to go and right into our seated position. This will be familiar to some in our 90-90 position. So I've got my knee bent at 90 here, and my knee is bent at 90 degrees behind me as well. For our next one here, we are just leaning over our hips. So we're leaning to that knee, hands on the mat for support, and then we're going to lean to the other way, which we don't get too much to lean that way, but we're going to try it anyway. We get to lean much farther forward here. We're going to stay in this position for the whole round, and when we repeat, we're going to switch legs. So remember which leg you had forward, and we'll switch that when we come through A next time. So we're going to get a lot of range of motion as we come forward here, dropping our chest, but it's a little tougher out to the side, and that's okay. We're working on that. We're feeling a pinch right at the top there. Just working on getting that hip as best we can. And of course, if we can't go far at all, we just want to work on a torso twist, just see if we can get ourselves to that position, right? So other than that, we are dipping that chest really far forward on that front knee, perhaps just twisting back on this hip to get some of that internal rotation. If you can lean towards it, go ahead and lean. Otherwise, we're going to just do your best here. 5 seconds, let's twist and lean there, and one more big lean forward. Great job. So we don't come back to that one yet. We're going to switch rounds, but next we're going to go to our open book. So we're going to be flat on our side, bottom leg is extended, top leg is bent over, and we're going to be opening the pages of our book just like so. Driving our top shoulder and shoulder blade squeeze down back into the mat. We're going to squeeze it on the way over the top and reach back as far as we can go. And we're just going through this free range of motion here as best you can. If we get stuck here, hold and squeeze for a second, and then close the pages of the book again. And we're holding this top knee down here to really allow our hips and lumbar spine to get a good big twist. And we're just squeezing the top shoulder blade as best we can, really driving that shoulder blade down into the middle of our back, and then we're going to allow that arm to fall over the top. And we're going to follow our hand with our eyes as best we can. Big squeeze of the shoulder blade. See if you can get that hand all the way back flat. If you can touch the floor behind you, great. If not, then we got something to work on. We're going to repeat this same movement on the other way. This is our last rep. Good. So we're going to flip sides, 15-second transition. You can turn and face the other way. I'm going to flip my body so I can remain facing the camera while we work the other side here. So again, that bottom leg is straight, top knee's bent over the top here, and we're going to open the pages of the book. Big squeeze in the shoulder blade. Reach back as far as we can go and close the book again. We want to exhale all the way across the top, big breath out, blowing all that air out. Feeling our ribs twist and relax. Trying to get that hand as far back as we can go. We're going to find that stopping point, big squeeze in the shoulder blades, and try and drive it for just another second, and then close the rep and keep working on it here. So this is a great one for our spinal rotation, all the way from our hips and lumbar spine, all the way up into our back, shoulder blades, thoracic spine. Keep reaching and twisting. We got time for 1 or 2 more reps. We're going to make an adjustment and go on to group B. One more time, drive that shoulder all the way over the top and close the book. Great job. There's our timer. We're going to return to our position flat on our back and just continue warming up our lumbar spine and our low back. So now we're flat here. Feet are together, knees are together, and we're going to hang hips side to side. So we're finishing opening up that lumbar spine, hips, and our back. So we're just shifting these knees side to side here, letting our feet and knees hang. So we're getting a nice stretch across the top of our hip on that opposite side when we sink those knees down. Let them hang for a second or two, get a good stretch before you flip them to the other side. About 20 seconds to go. We're going to be up on our feet for the next one. We will want a dumbbell as well. This is one of our kind of hybrids. It's a little bit of strength, a little bit of mobility, mostly for our core. So grab a dumbbell or a weight, anything you got, and we're going to hold that above our head here in just a second. We got to finish up this last rep. We got 5 seconds. Let's get to the other side one more time. Big stretch across the hips and low back. Great job. Up on our feet for the last round before we go to B. Dumbbell or any weight is going to be held overhead, and we're going to march to keep our core tight. So this is going to be great for all kinds of stability. So dumbbell is up overhead. We're going to lock in that shoulder in our core, and we're going to slowly march and change our base foot on the ground. So keep that hand across your tummy, feeling that active core the whole time. Shoulder blade is pushed down into that safe, comfortable, strong position, right? And we're just very slowly marching, driving that knee up to our chest. So we're feeling a lot happening here. Our upper body and our shoulder are working really hard to hold that weight up. Our core is working hard to keep us stable as we change our base down below. And of course, we're getting some good stability training on the plant foot as we drive the other knee up to our chest, as well as some hip flexor training here. So this is a nice hybrid, kind of a 3 or 4 or 5-in-1 movement here. We got 10 seconds left, and we're remembering which side we're doing. So we're doing right side, right? Good, there's our first round break. So we're gonna jump right to group B, which is similar idea. We have 6 dynamic movements. We'll finish with kind of a little bit more of a hybrid at the bottom. This one's gonna be tougher than that lumbar twist, but we're gonna get right onto our mat here next. So go ahead and grab a drink if you need to, or wipe your sweat if we're getting a little sweaty. Hopefully we haven't got too sweaty yet. We still got work to do. But our next position will be similar to that 90-90 position. We're gonna call this our hurdler position. So we're gonna be on our mat, one leg is out in front of us, and the other knee is bent to our side like so. So hopefully we can get into this position best we can. My hamstrings are tight here, so it doesn't allow me to do it too good, but we're gonna do our best. And we're gonna start by just reaching to that opposite toe. So I've got my hand behind me for some support, and we're gonna reach to that opposite toe, just stretching out our hips here and the hamstring on the end of the leg. So we're ready to start that in 3, 2, 1, and go. Clock is ticking. We're just doing that hamstring reach. We're feeling a stretch across the top hip there. If you've got something you can prop under your knee, if we're having trouble in this position, you can stick that under there. Otherwise, we're just reaching to the toes as best we can and come all the way back up forward. Again, I've got my arm behind me, planted for a little bit of stability behind me to make this easier. B is a little bit of our tougher block, so modify these positions if you have to. We can just bend that knee a little bit and still get a reach towards the toe. We're just working on the hips here. So hips and hamstrings, do your best to reach. If you can't really reach much at all, just do your best just to get a little lean, feel that stretch. 10 seconds to go, reaching toward that toe. Hopefully this will be easier the second time around, right? That's the idea. Feeling pretty tight and pretty stiff, but we're doing our best. Great job. So from here, we're gonna stay right into this position, and we're gonna try and just lift this knee up off the mat, like so. So we're gonna get a lot of action in the hip that way. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and go. So I've got both hands on the ground behind me for support, or on the mat. We're just trying to lift that knee up. So squeezing the glute on our bent leg side back here, trying to lift that knee up off the mat just as high as we can. If we can only get a little bit, that's okay. Just working on the glute squeeze. See what we can improve on that range of motion in our hurdler position here. So do your best to drive that knee up. Again, we can have something underneath it to rest it on if we're having trouble getting all the way down into that position. But hopefully we can get that knee to touch and drive it all the way back up into the air. Last rep. There we go. Great job. So we are just switching our position for the next 2. We're doing that same pair on the other side. So we're going to switch our hurdler position here. One leg out front, one leg bent underneath us. Hopefully this leg will go straight if we're not too tight. And we're going to reach towards that there toe. Again, I got my hand behind me for some support. Doing our best to keep that leg flat and straight. Reaching toward the toe as best you can. Hopefully this leg can be flat on the ground. If not, we can get into a kind of an altered position there if we need to. We're reaching toward that toe, feeling a stretch on the hip and the hamstring. Reaching to that toe. They're doing a great job. 15 seconds left. We're feeling it in the hips and hamstrings today, that's for sure. We're going to be as loose as we can be here. One more big reach or 2. Here we got 5 seconds. Reach it. Let's get one more in. Big reach to that toe. Great. So we got a really good stretch in the hamstrings. We're staying right here in this position. We're lifting this knee up off the ground. So we lean back. Hands are on the mat, on the floor behind you, and we're lifting that knee. In 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and clock is ticking. Lifting that knee, slow and steady, squeezing the glute. Trying our to keep our straight leg flat on the ground as we drive this knee up, squeezing our bent knee glute on the back side there, getting that knee to come up as high as we can. Doing our best. Maybe we've already started with an elevated position and we're just lifting a little bit. If we can get it all the way to the ground and touch, that's great, and see how high we can open it up for where it might feel a little pinch in the hip. Trying to work through that pinching and tightness as best we can. See if we can open it up. 20 seconds to go. From here, we're going to grab a weight. Again, we've got some more movement to open up our inner thigh and hips. Lots of hip focus today, getting these hips to do what we want to do. If you don't have a weight, that's okay. We can still get by this next round. All right, we're going to be up in our half kneeling position for the next 2 rounds. And if you've got a weight, grab it. If not, that's okay too. We're going to hold the weight here if we have it. And we're going to get up into this kneeling position here so we can shift our weight to the side. So if you have no weight, that's okay. The weight is just to keep us upright in the chest. So we shouldn't be allowing this weight to get way down to the ground. So you can mimic that by just having your hands. And if your hands are leaning forward to touch the ground, we want to keep that chest nice and upright. So other than that, we're sinking onto our bent knee side here, feeling a stretch, a lot of opening on the inner groin here in our thighs. So doing our best, sink to that side. So we should have a pretty good wide angle. Try and get that foot out as wide as you can go. Sink on, we feel that deep stretch. And again, we have a little bit of weight here. One, to keep our chest, and if we have some weight, it can help weigh us down and get a deeper stretch. So if you want to grab that weight, go ahead. Doing our best either way with what we've got. Still feeling a great stretch without any weight as we shift our chest and our whole body to the right here, basically. So we're going to switch this movement here in 10 seconds to the other side. So my high knee leg should be feeling a lot of the stretching and work right in here. And we'll switch it in 2 seconds. There's our last rep. Good. So we're switching that position. Again, our foot's down in the back. We're opening this leg as wide as we can. Hopefully we get to a nice parallel that way. Perpendicular to our body, rather. And again, we hold the weight as best we can. 2 hands, try to keep it. This is going to help us keep our chest tall, so we shouldn't be leaning forward to drop that weight, right? Keep the chest and shoulders nice and tall. We should just be shifting our bodies to the high knee side of that leg, so we get that little bit of a bend of the knee. So my chest and shoulders aren't moving much. My arms aren't moving here. I'm just shifting my body weight to the side laterally to feel that stretch opening up the hips. Should feel nice and good. Get a deep stretch in there. Let the weight pull you down a little bit if you've got a weight. Hopefully we're feeling okay on the knee. We got 20 seconds to go here. Keep that chest tall. Keep sinking to the side. Get low, get as deep as you can. 10 seconds, we got time for 1 or 2 more reps. Good, and there's our break. Okay, a little bit tougher for our last 2 rounds. We did our lumbar twist and our march, but we are going to go into pike position for the next one. Tall plank or pike, your choice. We'll alternate between the 2 positions. So we are up here in pike right now, like so, and we are going to step forward to that hand, like so. So we're going to want to try and return to pike as best you can in between each one, and step. Get that stretch and extension in our mid, back, and spine. If we want to just hold tall plank and step, that's okay too. Try and keep everything as tight as you can. Sink the hips back, feel the stretch on the calves and the hamstrings before you step to the other side. This is a little bit tougher movement, so do your best. 15 seconds. Just hold that tall plank if you need to. Still working on stepping to that palm. We got time for 1 more on each side here. Back into pike. Touch. Pike. And step. Great job. So we're going to go back to our marching dumbbell, right? So we did our right arm first. We're going to hold the dumbbell on our left side this time. Dumbbell up overhead in the left hand. And we're squeezing our core tight. Shoulder blade is squeezed down. So this is all locked in nice and tight here. And I've got my hand on my tummy if I want to feel my core to make sure it's staying active. We're taking our march nice and slow here. Focused on really locking in that shoulder especially. So we want to keep our shoulder very stable and the core very stable, especially since we're switching our base. We got to keep everything tight and locked in. 15 seconds, we're just doing these nice slow step transitions here, shifting that weight from foot to foot, slow and steady before we drive the knee. A little bit of balance, a little bit of core, a little bit of shoulder stability, and there's our break. Nice job. All right. We're getting a little warm now. We're building up a sweat. Go ahead and take a drink if you need to. Grab that sweat towel, wipe your brow. So that is A and B we went through once. We're going to do A and B both one more time, so hopefully we will feel a little bit more mobility, a little bit more unlocking of our shoulders, chest, hips, everything that we're working on. I'm hoping my hamstrings will open up a little bit. I suspect that they won't, but we're going to try it anyway. So we're flat on our back again, working on those lat extensions. So we're driving our thumb up, and if we can get our thumb, we'll try a fist, right? So hopefully we see a little bit more range of motion here. We're going flat on our back again, alternating arms, lat extensions overhead, ready to go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Great job. So we're here, ready to start. We're in that position, taking it away. We're driving that thumb or a fist all the way up over, trying to touch the ground. Feel like that shoulder blade's got to stay nice and locked in. And if we're only getting to our sticking point, right, we can go here, turn that palm up to the sky and see if you can get a little bit more range of motion. If we're feeling like we're hitting a sticking point, hopefully we can get that thumb or that fist all the way back and touch the ground behind you. Almost there, just 1 or 2 more reps on each side. Really drive it. Feeling that stretch all in your back or along the shoulder blade there as best we can. Last rep. Great job. That's our round timer. We've got the boxing bells today. So we're going back to our hip flexor and hamstring. So knees come up to our chest. We're going to kick our foot out, get that stretch in the hamstring. So we're still flat on our back here. Good. So we go knee to chest, kick that leg up, and switch legs. So we're feeling a little bit looser in the hamstrings, not too much, but we're getting a little bit higher kick than we did last time. Hopefully you all are experiencing the same looseness changing in your bodies. We're still not getting that full extension we'd love to see, but we're doing our best. Just over halfway. We're still working on driving that knee. Get a big kick, really stretch it and kick as high as you can go. Feel that hamstring stretching. It's not going to like it. It's mad. We're kicking. We're starting to get a range of motion now. We're not all the way up there, but we are getting it. That's about twice as far as we kicked last time. Or it seems like it anyways. One more here. Big kick and stretch. Great job. We are going to go into our frog position again. So this one, we are wide knees, just like so. And we're having, hands are in front of us here for support, or we can go onto elbows if you're comfortable as well. And we're rocking back and forth, so we come forward, then we're sinking hips back, just like child pose, except our knees are wide. It's gonna change that hip position, and we gotta go back and forth between those positions. Come all the way forward, extend those hips, and then sink back and really sink back. Blow all your air out. Feel those hips open and wide. 15 seconds. A few more seats, sit way back, blow all your air out, feel a deep stretch in the inner thigh and hip there, really stretching it out. 2 more times, we got a big sink back, we got 5 seconds. Let's get forward 1 more time and blow all your air out and sink down. Nice job, there's our round, okay. We are going to our 90-90 again. I had my right leg forward last time, so I'm making my left leg forward this time. Just like so, and our clock is ticking, so we are leaning forward over that leg, which is what we get a lot of range of motion, and then just a little bit. We don't get too much on this side, and we can just work on the twist if we need to. Hands down on the mat to help us lean forward. Same on the other side, leaning as best we can. So we get a really good lean forward, and probably not much of a lean here, where we can just work on, again, just twisting that hip over to your side. Big forward lean here, stretching the glute, blowing your air out. Twist and lean to the side, a little bit tougher, but we're doing our best. 20 seconds, we're leaning that way as best we can. Big lean, blow the air out. Good, lean to the side, 15 seconds. We're going to go back to our side lying position. We're going to change our open books just slightly to increase our shoulder movement here. So, got 2 more rounds. Our open book, this is where we lay flat on our side. We were opening the pages of the book, and so now instead of opening over our top, we're going to make a big arc with our thumb. So we're flat on our back here, same position, lower body, top knees bent over, bottom leg is straight, and we're drawing that thumbs down arc all the way up, over, and back. So similar, last time we were opening this way, right? We're just going to keep thumbs down the whole time. Drawing a big circle or rainbow over our head. Drive the shoulder blade just like before. Big squeeze in the shoulder blade, force that arm down. We're going up and around, all the way up and over. Up and around. "15 seconds here. Keep that thumb down to the ground. Do your best all the way up and over. If you can get that full arc all the way around, please do it. Otherwise, we're just doing your best. Get as far as we can go and let that arm come up and over. Great. We are going to do that same thing on the other side. We can really feel how that works the shoulder, right? Lots of different movements in the shoulder. So you can turn right over. I'm just flipping my body to stay facing the camera here. Bottom leg straight. Top knee bent, thumbs down here, and we're drawing a big arc all the way up and over. Making sure we're blowing our air out on the way over, especially as we get right about overhead. It's going to be tough, right? So we get right about here, we're exhaling, doing our best to keep your thumb to the floor there, all the way over. If we get stuck, you can close it up, but try and keep working all the way back on that range of motion. Close it up. 15 seconds, we got time for just a couple more, all the way up and over. Let's get one more in, nice and slow. All the way up, keep that thumb, drive the shoulder blade down and back, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Exhale, and we're closing up the arc. Great job. We're gonna go back to our lumbar twist, so we're just flat on our back. One more chance to relax. We can open up your feet this time and let the knees hang individually. Get a little bit different stretch on the lumbar spine here. We've been working on our hips a lot here, so just finalizing that range of motion we've been working on. So feet and knees were together last time. We did our lumbar twist. They are open this time, space in between each one, so we're just letting our knee fall inside and switching every time. We're going to be up on our feet again at the end of this round for a march with our dumbbell. We did our right hand first.
We went to our left hand. This is our second time around on the right. So get ready to lock that dumbbell in overhead. We got about 10 seconds to go. So we're going to lock the shoulder blade in. We're locking our core in, and we're going to march very slowly to work on that stability, work on our hip control and our balance and everything else. There's our timer, which means we pop up on our feet. Let's get that dumbbell in our right hand. And again, we got our arm overhead here, but we're going to lock that shoulder in. So bring that shoulder blade down, squeeze it in position. Hand on our tummy here for some core activity. Make sure we feel that belly button working. And we're just locking it in, slowly marching here. Keep that shoulder blade squeezed. The shoulder's got to stay nice and strong and stable here. Feeling for our core, poking our abs to make sure we feel that core working hard. 20 seconds to go. We're making sure we get a nice planted foot before we switch our march. So we want to stay controlled at the foot and the hips, right? We're just trying to keep everything as tight as we possibly can while we march this. So working on strength all over, as well as our balance and stability here. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and relax. Great job. Take a quick minute, a quick second rather. Shake that hand out. We're going to go through B one more time. And then we've got a little bit of our strength block. We'll do a few rounds of that just to build up a little bit of strength and get these muscles working from all this range of motion stuff we've been doing. And then we'll be ready to go for the day. So we're going to start back in that hurdler position. This is that little bit tougher position to be in, right? Hopefully we feel the hips and hamstrings warmed up and loosened up a little bit. We can get a pillow to put under that knee if we need to. But we're going to get right back in that hurdler position here. Grab a drink if you need to. If we're getting sweaty, go ahead and wipe your sweat as well. We are ready to go. We're going to get back in that hurdler position. Whatever leg works best for you to start, we're going to do both. So pick a position. We're ready to go here in about 5 seconds. We're getting our mat situated. We're ready to go. So one leg straight, one knee tucked behind you, kind of like we're jumping over a hurdler, right? Or a hurdle, rather. We are a hurdler. And we're ready to go. 3, 2, 1, and we are just reaching toward the hamstring and the toe there. So again, we've got something under our knee here if we need a little support, if we can't get in this position very well. Other than that, we're reaching to the toes. Hand behind me for some support. You don't have to feel like you're holding your body up here, so just put that hand down, get a good reach, a little bit of twist in the shoulders, get some extension there, really reaching towards that toe. Hopefully you can touch it. I can't quite get there. Tight hamstring, doesn't like it. We already know that. We're doing our best, reaching. 12 seconds to go, 1 or 2 more big reaches here. Really reach for it. Feeling that stretch. We're ready to lift the knee on the other side. There's our last rep. Great job. So we're going to put both hands behind us, and the next one is that knee coming up, right? So we want to squeeze this glute, drive that knee up as best we can. If we're already up a little bit, that's okay. We just work on the range of motion we've got. Hopefully we can touch to the mat. Touch to the mat and then a big squeeze to lift it up. That's our goal, hopefully, here. Do your best with what you've got available in your range of motion. You might feel a little pinch here, so just try and go to that point of discomfort. Don't fight it or try and push through any pain. If we're having pain here, we want to stop. But we are just working on that hip motion, so come up as high as we can. Even if it's just a little bit, that will gradually increase. Tap the knee back and keep pulling. We got 30 seconds to go before we switch positions. Last rep, big squeeze. Great, and we're gonna switch positions. So just shift those legs. So one leg is out straight, other leg's bent now. And we're gonna reach to our toe again. So we're gonna reach to the toe. And we're gonna put this hand down on the ground behind you. All right, we're gonna reach and relax. Reach and relax. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit looser. We're going through this is our second time through of block B, so our dynamic mobility is about done. We're just going to do a few quick rounds of some strength building, nothing special, but we will get a little bit of more strength going. We do have our tougher round here with that pike position coming up, as well as the last overhead march round with the dumbbell. So just over 10 seconds left. We're still reaching, feeling like we're loosening up here. Three seconds. Let's get one more big reach and hold and relax. Great job. So now we're going to put our hand behind us again because we got to open up this hip. So this one doesn't like to cooperate as much for me as the other side, but we're going to do our best. Remember to put a pillow or something under your knee if we need a earlier lift-off starting position. Here we go. All right. Knee starts at the mat if we can. Big squeeze all the way up and over, all the way back down to the mat. Big squeeze in the glute, especially when we get to the top. We want to really squeeze it and pull that hip out into external rotation. Doing our best, big squeeze at the top, nice and slow, 2 or 3 seconds in each direction, right? We've got 10 seconds to go. We're going to go into that pike position here shortly. We've got to get one more hip opener done before we do that. Great, so we're in our half kneeling position. Once more here. Go ahead and grab something for your knee if you're feeling like that's painful to kneel, but we're going to really get that dumbbell again. We're opening up our hip wide. So try and get that way out to your side. Then we sink down. Weight is in hand. 1, it can weigh us down a little bit, but 2, we want to avoid dipping down to the mat. So keep that chest nice and tall. So when we go up to the side, we can also switch our dumbbell this way so that if we feel like the dumbbell is touching the ground, we're leaning forward too far, right? So let it pull you a little bit, but if we're clanking that against the ground, we might be leaning forward. So it's a cue to help us keep our chest nice and tall up top. Keep going, sinking nice and slow. Feel that big stretch all along the hips and inner thigh there. Probably quite tight, so if we can only go a little bit, that's okay. We're feeling a pretty good pull. Still want to work on sinking low, get a good stretch, and then drive back up off that leg. So getting a little bit of quad recruitment here as well as we drive up off that knee. We're going to switch our position, so put a little pad under for your knee again if we're feeling like it's bothering us. We're on a hard surface. We're opening up that leg as far as we can wide, out to the side, nice and wide, and we're sinking low into that position. Good. Again, we're keeping our chest tall, so hold that dumbbell in a different position if this helps you. Whatever will help you to keep that chest tall, it's just that nice cue. If you don't have anything at all, that's fine. Just hang your arms down to the front. Still feeling a great stretch in the hips. We got one more chance to open up these hips really well before we start our strength round. 20 seconds to go here. And that'll be in that pike position where we do the step in. So that's really going to open up the hips one final time for a minute. We got 15 seconds to go right here. Keep Keep it going, 5 seconds. We got 1 or 2 more reps. Let's get one more as our time expires. Really sink it out there, good job. Okay, we got 2 more, so we are going into that pike position. You can go into tall plank as well if that feels right for you. We're gonna try and sink into pike to stretch those shoulders and shoulder blades and T-spine, if you can. So here we are, sink back into pike, stretch calves, hamstrings, T-spine and everything. We're gonna step in on each side, and then back into pike. Still focusing on the hips here, still stretching those hamstrings, getting a little quad stretch, or I'm sorry, calf stretch in there as well, if those are tight. Feet probably aren't laying flat on the ground, and that's okay. You'll notice my toes are up a little bit, so my heels are up, I'm sorry. 15 seconds, let's keep it going. One more set here. Step, step, and then we're back into pike for one final stretch. And relax. Great job. We're getting warm, especially through that block. We gotta get up on our feet one more time with our dumbbell. Just like so. Dumbbells up in the sky, and we are marching. We're locking in our belly button here, making sure we can poke it to feel if we need to recruit our core a little bit better. Shoulder blade is locked down in place here. And we're being really stable with our lower body, making sure we have a nice, firm plant on the ground before we switch. So again, we can keep that hand here for some support, out to your side for a little bit of a counterbalance if we need to. We're over halfway, we got about 25 seconds to go. I know that my left shoulder is weaker. I can feel it already fatiguing, so I'm having to focus really hard on keeping that dumbbell up there, locked in place while I march with my lower body. 10 seconds to go, we're almost there. Keep working. 5, 4. Great job. Okay. We are gonna jump right into our strength block here. We got a few quick rounds of our strength. We got 4 different exercises, and we're just gonna go through that 3 times. So most of them will stay the same. We will do a lower body block that is gonna change a little bit just so we can keep working on the hips. We worked our hips in a lot of different ways, so keep that range of motion and keep that strength block going for the hips. So I'm gonna slip my shoes back on here. So if you were barefoot or in socks, you might wanna put your shoes back on. It's your choice, whatever you are comfortable with for this class here. And I'm gonna increase my weight a little bit. But for our first one, we've got a sumo squat. We'll do a curl at the bottom, so that's gonna make us really work. So sumo style, we're gonna curl it and then squat back up. So that's gonna focus on the hips a lot. We'll go from there, we're gonna do a halo right around our head. We're gonna press that dumbbell out to get shoulders working. We'll finish with our lower body, which will be a combination of maybe reverse lunges, lateral lunges, or deadlift, depending on which round we're at. And then we'll finish with the tall plank to finish up our core. So we're starting with our sumo squat and our curl. So we're gonna clear ourselves some space with the mat here, but we are ready to go. Same timer here, we got 1-minute blocks with a quick transition, 15 seconds in the middle. So we're ready to go 3, 2, 1, and go. This is our first, oops, I apologize. Our first round underway, sumo squat with the curl. So we're starting the weight here. Sumo squat is wide. We gotta do that curl at the bottom because it makes us work a little harder in the bottom of the squat to hold that position. Core and hips are working hard, and we're doing the bicep curl. Got minute rounds here, so they are a little longer than we might be used to. Pause at the top if we're feeling those hips fatigued. We've been working on them already a lot, so they might be kind of tired.
body good. We worked a lot on our hips and our mobility here, so great job. Bring that base back to normal. We got a halo with a press. So our halo, we start right here under our chin. We're going to keep that dumbbell as tight as we can around our head and then press straight out in front of you and bring it back to your chest. So we're going to alternate the direction of that halo every time. So we're going to get there, we press out, bring it back, and move the other hand first. So we're keeping those elbows tucked in as best we can. We're making that nice, tight, small circle around before we press the weight up. Press the weight out in between each rep. Almost there. These shoulders are working hard. Great job. We're going back to the lower body. So for this one, our first round, we're going to do reverse lunges. You can load these however you'd like or just do body weight. I'm just going to stick with what I got. One dumbbell under the chin, alternating legs straight back behind me for my lunges. Sink down all the way, keeping our core tight. Hopefully we can get that knee to the ground. Do your best. We can take this into a shallow lunge if we need to. Hopefully you can get that full range of motion on the reverse lunge. "15 seconds to go here. Last lunge, and relax. Great job. We are going to go into our tall plank next. We've got our dumbbell move for this one. So we're moving the dumbbell side to side. If you have no dumbbell, we can sub in plank taps, shoulder taps, or just work on holding that tall plank if you can. Our clock is ticking, so we are ready to go. Moving dumbbell from side to side. So make sure our base is set right about shoulder width. We've got a shoulder width with our feet. So we're nice and stable in our base. Keeping our core locked up tight so that when we shift hands, our hips and our torso are not moving. Ten seconds to go. One more switch. Great job. We've got a quick 30-second break. So grab your drink, wipe a sweat if you need to. We're starting to get a little warm. We're building up some sweat, right? So grab a quick drink. We got our 30-second block is almost up already. It goes by quick. It's halfway done. We got 10 seconds right now. We're starting back at the top. We've got our sumo squat with a curl at the bottom, making ourselves work for that bottom position, right? We'll go ahead and start in 10 seconds here. On the timer, when you hear the timer, or you can go with me here if you guys can't hear that timer. Sumo squat, we're out wide here. Big wide base. And we're gonna start here. We're gonna sink down and we curl it. We can really start any position. If you want to start down here, curl up and return. That's your choice. Just got to make sure those hips are working hard. Get
Get that curl up to your chin one way or the other, and relax. Hips are working hard. Got about 15 seconds, a few more reps here. We're squatting way low, we're working hard down at the bottom position. Last rep, let's get it. Great job. Bringing our feet back to normal base. We've got our halo with our press out next. So elbows stay really tight to our forehead with the halo, right? Make sure we've got those right next to our chin. Dumbbells on our chin, elbows stay right next to our head. And then we press out. Don't forget to alternate which arm you start the halo with every time. If you don't get it perfect, that's okay. Just try and remember which arm moves last time so you can do it the opposite this time. Elbows stay tucked in. We're making a tiny circle around our head with that dumbbell as close to our head as we can get it. 15 seconds, keep it tight. We're starting to fatigue at the top. We're working hard, almost there. We'll give our upper body a break. Only got one more halo block left. So last press out and let's relax. Great job. We are back to our lunge lower body portion here. We're doing we did reverse lunges. Now we'll do lateral lunges. I'm gonna load mine the same way. Dumbbell right under my chin, and we're alternating legs. There's our timer. Stepping out, hinging those hips back, drive off that plant foot, working really hard on that lead leg out there. Ten seconds left. Let's get one more on each leg. Right here, and our last rep, lateral lunges. Boom, done. Good job. We're going back to our plank move. Dumbbell on the ground, we're in tall plank position. If you don't have a dumbbell, we'll do shoulder taps or just hold on to plank. Add any mod you like if you want. We are locked up here in tall plank, moving the dumbbell. If we start to fatigue, just hold on to tall plank. Bring back in those moves whenever you can. "20 seconds to go. Last rep and relax. Great job. We're going to put one more 30-second block to recover. We're going to run through our strength block one more time. We've been working hard. We got 4 minutes left to work on the clock. Just finish up building strength here. So grab a quick drink, wipe your sweat. We're starting to sweat a little bit now, right? We are working hard towards the end here, moving that dumbbell around. We got a heavy weight. We're coming up in about 10 seconds. We got our last 4 minutes to go. Sumo squat with the curl is coming up here in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clock is ticking, sumo style, squat, wide base, squatting down, big curl. So we're getting this curl at the bottom, which makes our hips and legs work hard to hold us in place in that tough squatted down position, right? We're almost there. 15 seconds left. Keep those legs working hard. Big bicep curl squeeze at the top. 10 seconds to go. We got a couple more reps. We're almost there. Great job. We got one more block with the halos. Drop your weight if you need to. Get a smaller object, a smaller dumbbell if you have it. Keeping elbows tucked in tight. Alternating your arm that leads the halo. Clock's ticking, here we go. Tight circle with the halo. Big press out. Switching hands that lead the halo every time. We're almost every time. If you mix one up, that's okay. Just try and remember which one you did last time, so we're going both directions. Do your best. It's not the end of the world if you miss one. "20 seconds left. We got 2 minutes to go after this, and we're all set. Great job. We are going to go to our last 2 minutes. One more lower body, which is just going to be a classic RDL. So feet are hip width here roughly. Just keep your same weight, and we're going to shoot hips back. Stretch down. Feel the stretch in those hamstrings and get that big glute squeeze. So we're working on these hamstrings. We just spent all that time loosening up. So nice and slow stretch on the way down. Big glute squeeze at the top. Two or 3 seconds on the way down until we feel that nice deep stretch. Then a big squeeze to get back to the top. Last one for the lower body. We got one more plank move. We'll do a really, really quick stretch cool down just for a few of these body parts. One more rep all the way down. Big squeeze at the top. Great job. We got to set this dumbbell down. One more plank move. We're going right into our cool down stretch. Plank move. Tall plank with shoulder taps, any mod you'd like. It's our last minute. Set your base. Set your feet strong. Lock that core up. Switching dumbbells side to side. We are almost done. If we're fatiguing, just hold on to tall plank till you can come back to the dumbbell move if you can. You got 15 seconds left. Let's try and finish it out. Last one. Great job. We're just going to hit our mat real quickly here. 3 quick stretches. We're going to do about 30 seconds of each one. We're going to do child pose to stretch out our upper body a little bit from our halos and our curls that we did. So we're going to put 30 seconds on our timer. Sink right back onto those hips. Let your head hang to the mat. We're blowing all that air out, feeling a good stretch on the shoulder blades. 10 seconds to go. Shoulder blades and shoulders are getting a nice deep stretch. Coming forward, one more 30-second block. We're just going to do a quick knee hug, stretch out a little bit of those legs that we just worked towards the end here. So 30 seconds, flat on our back, one knee up to your chest, big squeeze to your chest. Let that other leg hang and relax down on your side, or I'm sorry, right down on the ground in front of you. We're still working on breathing. Slow inhale, big breath out, blow your air out. Pull that knee up to your chest. And let's go ahead and slowly switch. Last 30 seconds on the other leg here. Big squeeze. Pull that knee up to your chest. Let the other leg hang flat against the ground. Big stretch. Squeeze that knee up. Blow your air out. Close your eyes and relax. Feel that stretch. Keep trying to pull your knee all the way up. We're feeling some good separation in our groin and our thighs from all that hip work we just did. Big stretch. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Go ahead and relax that leg down. We just lay here in corpse pose for just a few seconds. Take another few big deep breaths. Feel all that relaxation rushing through our body. We just did a nice stretch. We had a big focus on hips and lower body today, so hopefully you guys are feeling stretched out. We did touch on some upper body strength in our tall planks and our pike and our halos with the press out, but hopefully you guys got a nice good stretch, some relaxation. Again, we're not working on strength too much, just want to build on that mobility and range of motion that we have. So I hope you guys enjoyed class today. Drop me a comment below, let me know what you liked and what you didn't like about class. I love hearing from you guys, so please leave me some feedback. Until we can see you back in the fitness center soon, we'll see you right here, same time, same channel for our YouTube classes. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm Scott at Aspiria Fitness Center. We'll see you next time.